to Accountancy Learning's AAT sample paper debriefs. I'm Sarah, and in this video I'll take you through the Principles of Costing sample paper 2 task 6. So this task is all about labour and inventory calculations. We're told that Johnson Limited has made the following purchases and issues of raw material during the month of April. And here you can see the information related to the receipts and issues. For part A, we're asked to complete the table below for the cost of issue and closing inventory values to the nearest whole pound. So we're working to the nearest whole pound. Now, whenever we do a question like this, I would strongly recommend drawing out a receipts, issue and balance table. So I'm going to bring it up and then I'm going to talk you through how I've reached the figures. We're going to be looking for FIFO and AVCO, so we'll start with FIFO. And just as a reminder, FIFO is first in, first out. So you can see in the table I've put in all of the receipts here. I've put in the number of metres and then using the individual cost prices here, I've then worked out the total costs for each of the receipts. I've then put in the balance column so that we get a cumulative total for each of the metres that we've got in stock and the cost. So the metres simply add together, as do the costs. So 5,000 metres at 10,000 cost. We then add on 5,500 metres to give our new total of 10,500 and add our two costs together to get 21,110 and repeat that, add on the 22nd of April receipts as well. So that is our balance. So these are all cumulative figures. Now for the issue, we've got this issue here of 15,000 metres on the 28th of April. Now this is what we're going to have to work out, is we need the cost of the issue and the closing inventory. So you can see I've got a figure in here in cost, so let's have a look at how I've reached that figure. So first in, first out means we are going to take from the oldest stock first. So we need 15,000 metres in total. So we're going to take the full 5,000 metres from the 5th of April. We're going to take the full 5,500 metres from the 11th of April, which gives us a total of 10,500 metres, and we've still got to reach 15,000, so we still need another 4,500. That means we're going to take 4,500 from the receipt on the 22nd of April, and because we're taking it from there, that is going to be at a cost of £2.04 per metre. So to get this total cost of issue here, we're taking the full cost of the 5th of April purchase. We're going to add on the cost of the 11th of April, and then we're going to work out what the 4,500 at £2.04 per metre is. So at £2.04 is equal to 9,180, not 08, 80. Then we're going to add that on there, which brings us to 30,290. So that is the cost of the issue of 15,000 metres under FIFO. The closing inventory is then our final balance down here. So again, we just carry on calculating. So the metres that we've got left is we had 15,250, we take off the issue and we then take off the cost add in the receipt on the 30th of April, and then that gives us our closing inventory balance. Now if we're going to do it for Avco, we'll do the same thing. So let's have a look at the table that I've drawn out. So again, you can see the receipts here are the same. So now let's look at this £15,000, this 15,000 metre issue to production. This time we're using Avco. Now Avco is the average weighted method. So this is our average method. And what that means is whenever we come to an issue, we simply take what the meters and the cost that we had prior to the issue in total, and we find out what the cost per meter is based on those. So we had £30,800 cost. We'll divide that by the number of meters that we've got in stock in total, so that's our stock level, then times it by the number of meters that we're issuing. And that gives us our average cost over all the purchases up until that point. It's our average cost, and multiply that by the issue, and that's when you will get your 30,295. Then again, this balance column here works in the same way regardless of the inventory valuation method you're using. All that changes is the issue. So your balance is the cumulative balance of the number of meters you've got in stock and the total cost for those. So therefore the closing inventory under Avco will be £8,705. So when you're working through this type of question, do draw out this table to make it really clear as to what pots you're taking from when you're doing a first in, first out, or even a last in, first out where you go in reverse. And you can easily see the balance and therefore the closing inventory. Moving on, Johnson Limited is also looking at its inventory control policies. Part B, identify whether the following statements are true or false. Reducing buffer stock will help to reduce storage costs. So the buffer stock there is essentially holding things in stock just in case, so to make sure that we've got stock in time for customers. If we reduce that, that means we're going to be holding less stock, so we need less storage, so therefore it would reduce storage costs, so it's true. In times of changing prices, increasing buffer stock will help to stabilise the cost of inventory held. So this is true as well, because when the prices are changing, if we have a higher level of buffer stock, the cost stabilises because we're not buying as much in as regularly. So by having an increased buffer stock, it will help the cost of inventory remain stable when prices are changing and fluctuating. Then the final part of this question. Johnson Limited pays a time rate of £25 per hour to its direct labour workforce for a standard 35 hours a week. It does not pay overtime in excess of the standard 35 hours. During this time, they are expected to produce 350 units. For any units in excess of this, they are paid an individual bonus of £2 per unit. There are 3 people in a team, and if all 3 people exceed 350 units each, there's also a team bonus of £60 divided equally between the members of the team. Team A all exceeded targets, but Team B did not. So we need to complete the table below showing all values to the nearest whole pound, and if our answer is 0, we must enter 0 into the box. So in terms of the basic wage, so the basic wage is that they are only paid for a 35-hour week maximum because there is no overtime pay. So for S. Roscoe in Team A, He's worked 36, but he's only going to get 35 of those hours paid. So our basic wage is going to be 35 hours times by £25 per hour at 875. So the basic wage is £875. Individual bonus, so we can see here that S. Roscoe has produced 365. They have to hit 350, and over that there's a £2 per unit bonus. So S. Roscoe is 15 units ahead of target. So it'll be 15 times £2 per unit, which means the individual bonus is £30. And he's part of Team A, who all exceeded targets, so they get a team bonus of £60 divided equally between the team members. So 60 divided by 3 team members is 20. So S. Roscoe gets £20 of that team bonus. Now for M. Cross, who is part of Team B, again the basic wage is going to remain the same. So he's actually worked the standard 35 hours, so his basic wage is the same. He done 355, which is 5 in excess, so we're going to have 5 times the £2 per unit bonus, which is 10. But as he was part of Team B, they did not exceed all the targets, so there is no team bonus for M. Cross. So this is one of those where you need to make sure you're reading the question carefully because of this, particularly because of this overtime where there's no overtime paid. So when you've got somebody who's worked 36 hours, they're only still going to be paid for 35. And that brings us to the end of task 6.